All right, this is April 17th, and we are talking about collaborating with technologies in our class. And one of the things that to understand about collaborating is that a lot of teachers um, feel like they are experts on this area, that they know everything about collaborating because they've done a lot of it in their classroom. And you might be right, there's a lot of common collaboration activities. But there is a difference, though, between just cooperating and collaborating. And cooperating is the kind of activity where you have students have a task to do, and they divvy it out amongst themselves, and they say, you do this one, you do that part of it, you do that part of it. And then at the end, they come back together and put it all together, and they hardly ever work together at all. So that's one way to think about sort of a collaborative learning, is just cooperating, and that's not as powerful maybe as the possibility of students actually working together to work on a project. And so collaborating is more than that. It's usually more than just sending out, separating the assignments and putting everyone back together at the end. It's more about coming up with ideas, brainstorming together, talking about things together, building something together, doing things together. And that togetherness means that they have to kind of have times where they can meet together. And that might translate to a lot of class time in your class where the students are working on these things. So that's something to be aware of, just collaborative versus cooperative learning. I think you'll read a little bit about that in Chapter 6 as you read this week. There's also the collaborative learning discussion for this week. It has some practical problems with it, as some of you may understand and know. A few examples of this include when some students may just coast along and let others in the group do all the work. So some students are overburdened, other students maybe not doing anything. Another issue is that you might not know if all the students in the group learned the target knowledge or skill that was intended. So you might see a group of 5 students give a fantastic presentation on cellular reproduction, but you don't know for sure if every one of those 5 students understands cellular reproduction the way that they should. And so those are some of the problems really with collaborative learning, right? The imbalance of the workload and also the imbalance maybe of how students might learn. Some students might be really good and expert in the knowledge that they were supposed to learn, and others might not have gotten that knowledge. So what are some best practices that you have found useful or heard of to overcome these and other problems of collaborative learning? How can you make sure that all those students don't have an imbalance in their learning, that they understand, every one of those students in the group understands the concepts that you want them to learn? And every one of them does work as much as was intended, that they are learning as much as and producing and doing their part in the group. And then there are some presentations here on creating an online presentation or video. And these just come from sections of the book that I've written about how to create some of these things. And that's, of course, to get you ready for the final assignment that comes up in a couple of weeks, the Cooperative Communication Project. And that's the project where you'll make a video, create a video, which I introduced, I think, last week or the week before. And then you'll also create a project plan. And so your video part of that is what we're talking about this week. How do I create that video in an easy way? So be sure to pay attention to those different assignments and ways to make online video. And that will help you complete your assignment as well. So those are just the activities for this week. We really are winding down. We only have a couple more weeks here. There's going to be some readings next week and a discussion, and then you'll have those 3 projects that are due: the Tech Talk and Integration Recipe Project, the Cooperative Communication Project, and the Constructive Makerspace Assignment. And that's the reflection on that. So that's what we have going on for this week. Don't forget to complete that Makerspace reflection. If you haven't had a chance to be a part of a Makerspace, as I mentioned before, there is on the 27th of April an activity that I'm involved in that you could come and help with the planning and implementation of, as an opportunity to do that Makerspace and complete the reflection afterward as well. And then if you haven't done your intentional tech talk and integration recipe, well, you need to make sure you get that completed as well. And that's recording a presentation about a technology tool. And the sign-up sheet for that, again, is under January 9th through the 14th, Intentional Tech Talk and Integration Recipe sign-up sheet, the first week of class. you can see the week that you should have signed up for and should have that ready for. All right, have a great week.